Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tammy Patzer.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce you to today's guest, Dr. Bernadette. She is a board-certified family medical physician and co-owner of Faith Family Health in Columbus, Ohio. She's devoted more than 20 years to developing, teaching, and educating others on the principles of health and lifestyle transformation. She's also an author, the health contributor for a quarterly magazine, and she's been featured and cited in prominent online magazines. Additionally, she's writing her first book and co-authoring other books. She has appeared on television and national commercials. Through inspirational speaking and group coaching, she helps her audience to become champions of their own health, healing, and happiness in order to live their amazing life. But Dr. Bernadette is no ordinary medical doctor. She uses her authorship, speaking, and wellness consulting, and her entrepreneurial spirit to help people make massive lifestyle transformations over obesity, so they can take the journey to optimal living. And this has been the impetus for her brand new Dr. Bernadette MB brand. Dr. Bernadette is passionate about helping professional women live healthier, happier lives. They learn how to write their own transformation prescriptions as they pursue authenticity in all areas of their lives. They are introduced to resources for health, healing, and happiness, and to live the life they truly desire. Dr. Bernadette speaks, blogs, and sponsors retreats to inspire clients to take action, emphasizing her signature programs, including 6 steps to positive life changes and awaken the real you. Welcome, Dr. Bernadette.
Hello, I'm glad to be here.
I really am excited to talk to you because even though we've just met, I know enough about you to know that you really have a passion to helping people, and you have had some massive transformations yourself, and I want you to tell us about that as we have our conversation. But first of all, tell me a little bit about how you see the world and who you help.
Wow, I see the world where women are empowered to be a priority in their own lives and to nurture a lifestyle which supports them being happy and a healing lifestyle, and also with perfect health. Or because what I've seen in my practice is that we've limited health to just being disease-free, and it's much more than that. And so when women come to me, especially women who are professional, when they come to me and they're feeling stressed from their jobs and from their responsibilities, I enjoy helping them expand their definition of health to include themselves in their daily routine.
I think that's really important, especially in today's world. I think I just saw a report where they say we're going to live about 20 additional years beyond where the average people are living now. So that means that we better take care of the mind, body, spirit, because if our bodies break down, obviously, what are we going to do with the rest of us? It's just crazy. So can you tell me about some of the problems the people you help are coming to you with? I know you have like 20 years of experience with this.
Yeah. And so a lot of them come to me with work-life balance issues, weight and health issues, and just being unfulfilled in their careers and personally, and just having feelings of loneliness and concerns about life transitions, as we age and the anti-aging solutions. So I see women for all different aspects of their health, healing, and happiness.
So when you talk to somebody, what do you do? Because obviously you are not the average medical doctor who gives somebody, here, take 2 pills and, call me next week if you're not feeling better. I mean, the
Right.
old traditional method of here's the pill prescription. Tell me more about how you help your clients.
I want them to understand that interventions such as meditation, journaling, art therapy, having scheduled me time, they are just as important as any medical prescription that I can write for them. I think what my emphasis is to have them expand what they're considering healthy versus unhealthy, because people will come to me saying, I just don't feel well, and they want to make it a health issue in terms of they want a pill to fix them, but the issue is much different from that. It's that they're not spending enough time taking care of themselves. They don't have a way to reduce their stress. They're not eating as healthy as they should be. So there's so many different aspects to look at, and what I love and enjoy is looking at each individual as a one-on-one and not having a cookie-cutter program that I want to put you into.
So when you're talking to people and you have a 6-step prescription that you give them to make their positive life changes, so what is the process that you go through with them to get to the point where you have your 6-step prescription? And then can you outline the 6 steps briefly?
Absolutely. The biggest issue becomes to identify what I call that 800-pound gorilla. What is the thing that's preventing you from living the life you want or having the health you want? And once we can figure that out, I almost can certainly use this 6-step prescription on mostly all women, because it's what I use to transform my own life. So what I enjoy about it is that it's tested personally by me. So when I think about the 6 steps, I call them my 6 E's. And so it's eating and exercise, examine, and then we do exhale, enhance, and enjoy. So it's what my goal is to cover all aspects of your personal and work life, because it's really important. We often just want to focus on whether or not I have an ache or a pain, but some people don't have aches or pains, but they have so many other things going on in their lives that need to be addressed in order for them to have the health, healing, and happiness that they're trying to pursue.
So can you share your transformational journey with us?
Absolutely. It's very interesting because, I was a graduate from the University of Michigan, then received my master's at the University of California and went on to medical school. And so from the outside, everything looked wonderful. I mean, on paper, I was perfect. However, I did not feel I was living my best life. And so I felt always overwhelmed and trying to live up to this standard that had been preset for me. So when I had to really take a step back and say, I'm really not living the life that I'm actually trying to prescribe for patients. So I took some time, and what I began to look at was, what's your 800-pound gorilla? What's the thing that stands out most that you need to address in your life? For me, I was over 300 pounds. And so here I am prescribing to patients the health, perfect health, and telling them, okay, if you have diabetes, you need to stop eating these things. But I wasn't reflecting what I was actually prescribing for them. And so when I was able to step back and say, listen, I can no longer ask my patients to do what I am not willing to do. So having time to sort of do some deep thinking and going in a deeper space within myself and identifying where's the weight problem coming from. It's easy to tell people, just slow down on your carbs and just have a low-fat diet, but the issue was much bigger than that. Why are you eating? And for me, a lot of it had to do with personal issues with mom. I would say the lack of relationship that I had with my father, so I turned to food because that was comforting to me. But when I was able to untie my emotions to food, it sort of opened up a freedom in every aspect of my life. So I started with the 6 E's, doing the eat, but everybody doesn't start there. Some people need to learn how to exhale, and some people need to learn how to enjoy their life better. Some people need to get moving. So I love it because the biggest step, or the first step, is just determining where are you and what you need to do differently.
Wow, that's really interesting because I've actually talked to quite a few people recently about representing, and I can imagine you as a doctor, and there you are at 300 pounds prescribing, oh, well, you shouldn't, and they're looking at you like, doctor? and so you have to now represent to reflect who you are because of what you know. And so I really resonate with that. When you said untie your emotions from food, that's a very powerful statement. So let's just use that as an example of how might you help someone untie their emotions from food? What has to happen inside of you to do that?
You have to be willing to admit first that you actually have this relationship with food because of, and whatever your because of is. And that's the real tough, that's really tough for a lot of people because we want to just bury things and hope that they will go away, but they really don't go away. They manifest themselves in the other things that we do. So for me, mine manifested itself in just overeating, and for some people, they pick up other habits that they use to deal with whatever it is that's bothering them, and it's really tough because you have to be willing to go into a space or a place where there is hurt and there's pain, and to face that, and no one really wants to do that. And I think what I help people see is that you don't have to do it alone, that I can do this with you, and I've been there, and that's what the part that I really like about my job, because my patients, they've seen me do this, so they trust me.
So it's really interesting. So right now, how would you describe your physical practice? How does that work compared to what your goals are in helping more people? Because with what you're developing here, I'm seeing that you don't necessarily have to have people come into an office like they would in a traditional doctor's office. Do you have groups, workshops? How do you accomplish this transformation process?
Right now, I have the traditional office where people are coming for the standard appointments, and that's one of the models I want to move away from. I also do retreats and coaching, personal coaching. So I really want to move away from the traditional model, and the reason being is that it's easy to come in and what you really are asking in the traditional model is for me to fix you. And that's not possible. I can guide you, but you are going to have to put the effort in to change your life or transform your life and have it go in the direction you want it to go. And it's really difficult to accomplish that in these 15-minute office visits. So ideally, I want to do more online work, more retreats, and more personal coaching.
So the retreats, what would a retreat look like if I wanted to attend one?
Mm-hmm. One of the retreats that I've had previously, what we did was we introduced people to journaling and to meditation, some of the practices of yoga, and we also talked about some chronic health conditions as well. But what the retreat does, we had nutritional foods, we had fitness instructors come in. So it actually looks at the 6 E's or the 6 steps to positive life changes, and we take something from each of those steps and bring it to the retreat. For instance, with art therapy, a lot of people think it's about the art. It's not about the art. It's about looking in deep inside and letting go and feeling free to let go of whatever it is that's bothering you or whatever it is that has you stuck. So I actually experienced that myself and thought, wow, how freeing it was. I went to a art therapy class actually, and the instructor laughed because initially he gave us these coloring pages and everybody was coloring in a line. And when he got to me, he said, it would be nice if life was that neat, but it's not that neat. So when he said that, I was like, you're right. You have to give yourself permission to go outside of the line. And you have to give yourself permission to set new boundaries. So, and you'll experience all of that in the retreat.
Wow. When you were talking about that, I remember when I was little and, you're coloring away and that was one of the things that you're so careful to do, to stay within the line.
Yes.
And then, of course, you were rewarded. And I actually remember one time that I actually painted a watercolor of a horse, and the teacher was like, oh, well, you went outside, because I was real creative with my, like, the watercolor, and I was mixing it and blending. And it was like, I remember just feeling so deflated. And so it's like we're told that you're supposed to conform, when in reality, when we're allowed to be whoever we are and creative, then we're able to be who we truly are.
Absolutely.
So that's really, I love that, because here you are, a medical doctor. So what is really cool about you is that you have the medical part, so I'm sure that you check everybody out to make sure that they don't have any, real issues going on that need to be treated. But then the fact that and I really think not most, but everybody need help to grow and develop, and you need a support system or a foundation, a tribe, whatever the latest buzzword is about that, because I found that, because I work in a very isolated environment. I mean, it's me and my computer, and I have a cat named Clarity and a dog, but but that my human interaction most of the time is limited to talking to people like we're doing, over the telephone or on Skype. Sometimes I can see the people, sometimes I can't. But I find that when I go out into the real world and I actually make real connections, it's very helpful to me to feel like I have friends. Even though in the online world, we have access to more people than ever for a friend, but yet it seems like we're more isolated than ever. So I really like your combo because an MD mixed with the more holistic spiritual type of transformational thinking, because I really think that your model of going away from the traditional, give me 15 minutes and I'll give you pills, is so much better, and it's what people are looking for. Because
absolutely. And the emphasis becomes that your lifestyle is your medicine. And when people realize that there's so much you can do without a prescription, and don't get me wrong, and you've said this as well, when a prescription is necessary, I will give a prescription. But many times it's not necessary. It's about doing the work. It's about changing your lifestyle. It's about looking and examining your daily routine and figuring out what supports you and what is actually compromising your health and well-being. So it's being willing to take some time and really say, what is it that I want, and how then do I get it? And that's what I believe that I'm very good at helping you do.
Well, I know you're very good at doing that. I have some questions about some of the reasons why people might be a little hesitant to, go along with the working with you on this. What do some of your patients say to you when you say, we can, talk more about this. We can work on your transformation. We can work more on your weight and try to get you to a place with more passion and purpose. What are your patients struggling with when you're trying to help them go off of go from the traditional medical, the 15-minute office appointment type of scenario?
One of the things they say is that it's too late to transform my life. They believe that, it's just too late to change my habits, or and I'm not sure that it's going to work. But it's not too late. I think people feel that way because they want it to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen overnight. And what they need to realize is that there's small tweaks, just small little changes can lead to big changes in your life. So for me, I try to convince them or talk to them about just making the small changes and not trying to do everything at once. So perhaps you concentrate on something for 4 to 6 weeks, then you master that, and then you're ready to move on to something else. And that way you're not overwhelmed at just trying to wake up totally different the next morning, because that never happens, even though we all want it to happen.
Well, what I discovered is it seems like I can gain weight a lot faster than I can lose weight. There's something magical about that. What about the biggest factors? How it's always, we always are so worried about what other people think. How does that affect us?
I had that personal struggle as well because, I'm a doctor, and I just need to go into the office and put on my white coat and wear my stethoscope and do the doctor thing. So why are you trying to do all these other things? And I must admit it, initially I was a little hesitant and wondering what people would think about it. But what I realized was that people don't validate me. I validate me. And so I share that with my patients, and I help them muster up that courage and determination to do the change or make the transformation for themselves, not for family, not for friends. And what I've realized in my own personal life is that once you do it, people will accept it.
And they'll try to support you. Yes. And even the people who try to sabotage you, when they see that you have that persistence, pretty soon they just leave you alone and they let you do it. What about people who it's like, sounds like a good idea, Dr. Bernadette, but I'm not really sure what I really, really want?
Right. I love the saying that clarity is the engine for change, and it really is. And it's okay to need to step back and really think about what you want. And that's what I'm here for, to guide you, to give you that safe space to dig deeper and to gain your clarity. And it's okay. Along the way, along your journey, you may change your mind again. And you have to give yourself permission to do that. So you will gain clarity as you go. You don't have to have the whole map in front of you initially.
What about the people that are like, sounds good, I'm stuck. I have a block. I don't know where to start. I'm afraid. I mean, I could probably sit here all night and just list all the reasons why I can't.
And you know what? That is why it's so awesome to come to a person who has personally made the transformation because I have the resources. I know what it took for me to make my transformation, and I'm going to share that with you, and so that my clients are able to make their transformation. So you're going to have this wealth of information, and you're not going to have to do all this research that I did. So you're going to have it right in the beginning, and you're going to get unstuck as you go.
Wow, because I do know that, there's always, whenever I talk to people and I hear them say, I'll say something, and they say, yeah, but I know that they're basically telling me that's too much work. I don't have the time or the money or the inclination. So what do you say to that? If I'm like, oh, I just, how people, they throw their hands up and it's, I don't have time for that stuff.
Exactly. And I've done that. I've done that as well. So, and the great thing is my messages are delivered online. We have pre-recordings. We have group format, and we can do one-on-one coaching. So there are no excuses. We will make it fit into your schedule. And I don't want people to be overwhelmed by it. We can take it as slow or as fast as each individual client wants to take it.
So of all of those excuses, because that's really what they are when you actually sit and
absolutely
play it over, what do you think is the biggest thing holding people back from making this massive transformation?
The biggest thing is I'm not clear on what I want. That's the excuse. That, people realize that they need to do something different, that what they're doing isn't working, but they're not clear on what this next thing or what they need to do to make the transformation. I've been there. I felt stuck, and I felt like, I don't have a book to tell me how to do this new transformation. And so the great thing is, because I've done it, I'm able to share that with you.
And the very fact that you're writing a book, pretty soon they will have a book.
Yes.
How cool is that? You are, again, Dr. Bernadette, you are an example of a woman innovator, because you're taking you've been a doctor, an MD, who's been doing the 15-minute appointments for the past 20 years, and you've made a massive transformation, and you are saying there is a better way to help people heal. And it's not about taking pills, it's about healing you. Yeah. And that is a phenomenal thing, and that's why you are a woman innovator. And I really want to really commend you for that, because you're making innovation about changing the way we look at healthcare. And in today's world, that is really, really important, because even though people don't generally buy the prevention, they buy the cure. Just think if people started to think about, well, how do I have a healthier mind, a healthier body? How do I learn how to function and not have food to be my comfort? Because I really understand the food and emotions thing, because I know when I get stressed, if there's a Dairy Queen around, I'll head to the Dairy Queen, and my go-to comfort food is a peanut butter milkshake.
Wow.
So that has to be like, it's not just a milkshake, it's a peanut butter milkshake, which means it's got, like 3,000 calories in it, more than likely. Very, cold, thick, creamy, and peanut butter, which is a childhood, obviously a childhood memory type thing. But that's really interesting. So is there anything you'd like to add before you tell us where people can find out more about you?
Well, I just want people to to realize that this process, it can be tough, but having someone who's personally walked through the process is very comforting, because, and also having someone who's willing to look at it as an individual process and not always as a group process, and recognizing that each individual starts at a different place and needs different support. And you get that from me. And also understanding that health is not just being disease-free, and I cannot emphasize that enough. I have patients with no quote-unquote disease that we've diagnosed, but they're not living a healthy, well life. And that is so important, because it is about health, healing, and happiness. That's how you get to your best life.
That's so awesome. I want to just really thank you so much. And where can we find out more about you?
Well, you can go to my website, and it's Dr. Bernadette, MD, LinkedIn. You can connect with me there, Twitter, and also on Pinterest at Dr. Bernadette, MD, and on Facebook at Life in HarmonyNow.com. So.
Okay, perfect. So DrBernadetteMD.com. Dr. Bernadette, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tammy Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.